Very happy to meet you as well. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. We're not so many on this webinar, but it's okay. We're waiting a couple of minutes for those who are going to come. In the meantime, I was asking if, because my webinars are really different, they're very interactive. If you do have your website and you want me to use it as an example to give feedback during this, I could do that, if it doesn't bother you.
I would love the opportunity, actually.
Okay, great. Can you send it over, please?
What's that?
Your website, please.
Yes, I'll type it in the chat.
Yes, please. Type it in the chat. And then we use it as an, yeah.
I've just recently started trying to make some improvements.
Okay, great. So it's called Ideal Life Coaching.
Ideal Life Health Coaching.
Okay, Ideal Life Health Coaching. That's the website, right? Because I can see this is your email address. So
Oh, yeah, sorry. It's ideallifehealthcoaching.com.
Okay, no problem. Let me check that.
Now the whole world has my email. Send me some love and appreciation.
I'm sorry.
That's what I love.
No, nobody's going to. Everybody here is very responsible. Nobody's going to.
Yeah, I'm not worried.
Yeah. So
you got to roll with it, right?
Indeed. Let's just wait a couple of minutes to see if anybody would join us again. Okay. Yeah. So we have. Yeah. Oh, I love it. It looks nice. I have something to say about it, but already my first impression is quite okay. Yeah.
Hi, Rebecca. Did I mention Dr. Stanley is my mentor?
Oh, very good.
Yes. And so he's going to do the first part of the webinar.
So I hope I'm good. I hope I'm good enough to to defend my title as a mentor. So in 2 minutes we're going to start. So, but now that we're already here, my webinars also always start in a very unusual manner. As I said, I'm not one of those who prepare a bunch of slides, come in and then like just move along my slides and then keep everybody on mute. I know some people do this because many people join their webinars, but it's always been, for me, not the best way of doing webinars. I prefer to really have people interact, even if it's a small number of people, but you can get their feedback, you can listen to their specific problems. So let me start by asking Rebecca, if you don't mind, now that we're using it as an example, what do you think is the greatest challenge in your business today? I'm sorry for putting you on the spot.
Not at all. It's a good question. I just want to give you a thoughtful answer.
Okay, great. Go ahead, please.
I find that I really enjoy organically building relationships with people and then having the income follow that initial impact. So for me, it's a challenge to do things like my website because I feel like it's selling, or I really want it to be still a service where I'm giving information and sharing things. And I'm constantly kicking against that marketing mindset.
That's very interesting. That's so exciting you're saying that, because that's going to be the topic of this webinar. What he just said is it's like you knew what I was going to talk about today. Honestly, and I'm not joking, to be very honest. I'm going to talk about that. About the fact that you love dealing with people, helping them out, and on the downside, you're like, am I really ready to sell? Should I sell this, or is it really, do I just give it out to them for free? Correct?
Yeah, I do have investing clients, and I do have programs that I sell, but it's the marketing piece that. The formal marketing, I'm just very uncomfortable with it.
Okay, but do you have enough clients, that pay you enough? And I mean, are you very okay with your revenue, the amount of revenue you're driving at the moment?
So I'm in a unique position where I get to do what I do because I love it, and my livelihood does not depend on the income that I bring in. That being said, am I working with enough people? Do I feel like I'm helping enough individuals. No, I would love to have more people to work with.
Okay. So you would love to have more people, but then if you have more people to, so is it like you have a business alongside your blogging business?
My husband's income covers all of our needs with enough to share and be generous with other people.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so you're more interested in really helping people.
I want to have an impact, yes.
Okay, but I have a question to that. This is a very interesting example. My question to that will be, what clients do you love to work best with? Because even though your goal might not be, like your goal might not be fundamentally or primarily earning a large income, you still have a goal for the particular kind of people you want to work with. Am I correct?
Yes. I run it like a business. I do.
Yeah, indeed. I mean,
that's what my big struggle was. So.
Yeah, I mean, every initiative has to be run like a business. Even those who run NGOs, have to run it like a business, because you could have a great idea and you want to really help people, but you don't even find the right people to help.
Right. And quite honestly, it takes money to run a revolution, right?
Absolutely.
Indeed. You have to market, especially in 2018, where everybody has a voice, right?
Yes.
You have to be able to find you have to be able to cut across the noise.
Yes.
So I'm very excited. So let me ask a couple of questions to Mindy. If she doesn't mind, then I'm going to start off the webinar using just the information you just gave me now. I'm going to talk just about what is going to help you, because that's what I'm going to teach today. Or that's what I'm going to share today. Have us share ideas. I hate the word teach because it's like I'm a guru. I hate this guru-centric idea. Mindy, what is the biggest challenge in your business at the moment, please? If you would answer.
Sure.
Oh, she said her voice over. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, I did. I don't mind sharing. It's just I'm very new, so I'm very frustrated. I have a whole lot of challenges. I just feel like I'm not getting enough people, not getting enough. What is the word? I totally just blanked it. Turnover. Not enough people coming in and buy. I mean, there's just everything. I mean, it's all new to me. I ran a business, brick and mortar, for 16 years. So the internet world is just very, very new to me. So the whole how you market and how you handle things is just such a new world for me. I can do face-to-face and I can talk to people, but to do that through the website and to be able to get the marketing and to get people to understand what I'm trying to say and do, it's just so hard. I didn't realize how hard it was.
Okay. It's frustrating, challenging, and to an extent overwhelming, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So the big challenge now would be not getting enough people who is bringing enough revenue for the business. Are you focused on this business now? Is it your main source of revenue at the moment?
Well, other than my husband's, yes, this is my main focus.
Okay. So are you planning to make it a main focus of your revenue?
Yes, I want to make it big. I want to impact a lot of people.
Okay.
I want to do it.
Okay, great. Okay, then in that case, let me start with what I wanted to share with you today. As I said, I didn't prepare no slides because I just want us to discuss about a very basic idea I have. I've been in this business for close to 12 years. I've gone through almost all the business models: affiliate marketing, e-commerce. I'm a software engineer by training, with a PhD in computer science. So I really spent a huge time of my life, developing software for people as a consultant, and then later on got into digital marketing about 8 years ago. Have an agency. That's where Mavis and I are partnering and working together to help clients. But then what I've really learned after so many years of this is very simple. And that's what I want to share with you. The big challenge actually is the word attention, right? So let me just share my screen and I'm just going to type some things as I go. The big challenge in 2018 is attention. Now, attention has gotten so expensive. People are even willing to pay you just so that you don't ask for their attention. And I think this goes to Rebecca, because even if you have something for free to offer, you know, when they say conversion rates are low, like when people land on your website, you're offering something for free, but you still have it difficult for people to come and collect that thing which you're offering for free. I mean, this webinar is free. And on the Facebook group, you have more than 22,000 people. And you had Mavis pinning this and saying, hey, this is a free webinar that's going to help you, you know, have great performance on your website, right? But even so, we are just a couple of people here, right? So no matter how nice you are, no matter how wonderful you are, you know, you're this Robin Hood who wants to help the world. The problem is nobody really cares anymore. And I believe that the reason why people don't care, what I've seen, honestly, you can hear people give you 1,000 concepts about this. The reason people don't care is for one single reason. People don't trust. Yeah. When she posted that on Facebook, this is the challenge. People are like, what is the catch? You know, what is the catch? Why is she suddenly getting up and doing and inviting somebody to do this webinar for free? You know, that's what people ask. So they don't trust it. They're like, there is a catch behind. You know, I'm not sure about that. Right? So people don't give you their attention because they don't trust you. You know, so they don't even trust you. So if you want to give it for free, they don't know your motives. You know, I have this very simple question I always ask people. So we come from a country which is not really, I wouldn't say poor, but let me say standards of living are at least lower than in the US. I'm originally from Cameroon, you know, in Africa. So even though some people are really poor in my country, if you meet a beautiful lady in my country and you offer to give them $1,000 for the first time, they wouldn't accept. You know, they meet you on the way and you say, hey, you know what? This is $1,000. They'll be like, oh, no, please. I don't want your $1,000. You know, I don't know where you come from. I don't know you. I don't have a clue about who you are. I don't know your motives. I don't even, you know, I don't know. I don't get it. So even if you're Robin Hood, people don't care because people don't trust you. So the big challenge online and even offline, by the way, is this big word of trust. And it's simple. How do you get people to trust you? It doesn't matter whether you're trying to get people to follow you to, you know, give you money, which is okay, because if you're providing value to people, you need to earn a living. Or you're like Rebecca, who wants to create an impact, you know, who wants to create a difference in the world. But you need to get people to trust you to be able to listen to you. Now, when they don't trust you, for them to trust you, there are two major things that you have to do. The first one is you just have to solve their problems. Okay, you have to solve their problems. When you solve people's problems, they trust you. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. The second one is you've got to become an authority. You see, so I'm not American, but I know the news on the web. I know the news on TV of people who talk about Donald Trump, those who are for and those who are against. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm neither of them. I'm neither for nor against. You know, I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't really care about these people. You know, I don't care about politicians. But what I've understood is that whether you love Donald Trump or not, you know, when he walks into a room and they say, behold, the president of the United States, you know, you pause. I'm not trying to talk about politics. You know, you know, you don't have to love him. Whether you loved Obama or not, when he walked into that hall and they said, we have to all rise to welcome the president of the United States, both the opposition and the people of the ruling party rise. You know, and they honestly do, because with all due respect, he's an authority. So those are the two major reasons why people will trust you. One, when you solve their problems, and two, when you're an authority. Now, becoming an authority takes time. It takes work, because to really become an authority, you have to solve their problem, and that's a challenge. Now, but how do you solve their problem? That's where it becomes really difficult, because to solve their problem, you need to even find out what their problem is. Right? How wish I knew all the problems my clients had. Because if you understood the problems your clients had or your audience had, you will solve it. They will listen to you. The problem is, look at how Mindy articulated her problem. Let me tell you one big thing. People who try to sell to Mindy, they don't have a clue of what she's going through. They don't even take time to listen to her. You know, she talked about a couple of words. She said, look, I'm overwhelmed. I'm confused. I don't have a clue how this worked. You know, this is frustrating. That's her problem. Now look at what people will sell to Mindy. Oh, I can make a website for you. Oh, I can do some search engine optimization. Oh, I can show you how to do webinars. Oh, I can show you how to do email marketing. Mindy, am I correct?
Yes.
And whenever each of this person comes to you, you're like, oh my God, how I wish they could even have a clue that, I don't have a clue of how all of these pieces come together. It's not about a webinar. It's not about email marketing. It's not about a website. I am overwhelmed. That is my problem.
Yes. Amen to that. Very much so.
And so very few people will come to you and say, hey, are you so overwhelmed? Do you need somebody to talk to who can walk you from the first step to the last step, to even identify what your challenge is, to even identify what we can do for you before we do for you? Very few people do that. And it brings me now to my topic. How then do you solve people's problem? How do you become an authority so they can trust you? There are two things people don't do. And let me tell you the truth. It's never going to change. I grew up in the bush with my great-grandmother. It was the same. It's the same. It was the same in 2000. It's the same in 2018. It's not going to change. There are two other words. There's relationship and there is revenue. Those are the two keywords I'm going to talk about today. There's relationship and there's revenue. And they come in that order. A lot of marketing gurus talk about this, but they don't take the time themselves to create the relationship. Watch many webinars. You see that most of the webinars are, they are refined for the guy to sell what he wants to sell. When you come on that webinar, you're like, I already see where he's going to. He doesn't take the time to create that relationship. When Mavis came up on this webinar, what did she say? She said, hey, Mandy, do you know Stanley is my mentor? Right. She's talking about relationship. And immediately, Mindy turns to trust me a little more. Immediately, Rebecca turns to trust me a little bit more, right, than if I just came up on this webinar and was talking to her. By the way, I don't even think they would have come up on this webinar if I went on the group and invited them for the webinar, but it's because of relationships. Mm-hmm. People talk about it, but people don't do it. Let me tell you why people don't do it. It's very simple. Because people want microwave baked solutions for problems, for marketing problems. People want to get to the market today and earn all the money in the world today. And that's why people say the money is in the email list. And I say, no, the money is not in the email list. The money is in the relationship you create with the people in the email list. I've seen people with 1,000 people on their email list and have gone broke. I've seen people with 1 million likes and they've gone broke. I've seen people with 1 million likes and when they organize an event, nobody comes. By the way, I've seen Melvis with such a great email, with such a great group. I don't know if you're part of her group, her Facebook group, 24,000 people, but we have just 2 people. I'm not saying that she didn't create relationships, but maybe we need to check out the depth of the relationship. How deep is the relationship is what I want to talk about. If you really want to create a relationship about me, then you need to know me. You need to understand me. And that's why if you want to market your product, you need to understand that you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. That's the first point I want to make on the relationships. So to create relationships, you need to really, understand people. When I came up on this webinar, the first thing I said, hey, Rebecca, what is your greatest challenge? You know, how many people even ask you what your greatest challenge is nowadays? Everybody thinks they know what your problem is. You know, everybody says, oh, Rebecca, do you want to get you know, I can imagine how many ads you get a day telling you how many clients they want to give you in order to transform your life. And you're like, wait a minute. My husband has got enough money for me to live, you know, and the next generation and maybe give to others. What are you talking about transforming my finances? Are you kidding me? I mean, seriously, that's what they do. But because they don't take time to understand you in order to personalize, you know, to make it personal, it's never changed. The ability to be able to take the relationship to that point where your audience, those following you, understand that you understand them. And let me tell you, the first way of making people understand that you're good, you're real in the relationship is when you seek to know who they are, when you seek to know what their really problem is, and specific to them, not generally. So how do you actually go ahead to find out? I'm going to talk about that here. How do you go ahead to understand how people are, who they are? Now, immediately after this webinar, let me say I had a follow-up email to do. Imagine if I send the same email I'm sending to Rebecca, the same email I'm sending to Mindy. I lost each of them. Because immediately they will open that email and they will not read it, because they will find out that it's not talking about them, it's not personalized to them, and it's not solving their problem, and they're out of it. And that is what is happening in the market today. So what are you supposed to do? What you're supposed to do is you have to understand your audience. You have to understand how they tick. You have to understand what their problems are. Right. I know that the next question is, how do you do that? I'll come to that. But I think the first thing is to establish that. And if you spend so much time doing that, and you start doing that from one person to the other, before you know it, people will start loving you, start recommending you, start following you, because people follow those that seek to understand them. Have you ever been in a situation where you say, oh my God, nobody understands me? You know, have you ever been in a crowd and felt lonely?
Yes.
Because you're in a crowd. You see so many people, but no one person in that crowd seeks to really find out what your real challenge is. So how do you understand people? I'm going to talk about that in a moment. The second thing is when you've understood them. And so it means that in order to understand them, you have to segment them. Let me give you an example. Let me take an example now of Rebecca's business. Let me start by sharing my screen of her website. And let's see, if I were to come to Rebecca's website, right, from the first thing I've said, does Rebecca seek to create? Oh no, this is not Rebecca's. I beg your pardon. This is Mendes. You see, I know your website. I know the difference. Okay. So, by the way, look at the way I'm doing this webinar. Now, I didn't prepare slides. You know what betight me if I just did some pre-prepared slides and then I came here and I started talking to you, I'd be like, what is he talking about? You know, it's interesting, but it doesn't. I mean, I don't. This doesn't concern me at all. It's not solving my problem. But now I'm going to talk about your website, and that makes it different because it's about you. So when I look at your website, my first question is, when I land on this website, because we're talking now about performance on the website, right? Don't forget, getting people on social media has become expensive. Not only expensive, but difficult. So when they land on your website, you want to maximize that, right? You want to make sure they don't leave. You want to make sure they don't disappear without taking action. But they will not disappear if you create a relationship with them. So let me see. So to create a relationship, you have to segment. If I appear on your website, have you pre-planned the segmentation so that when I appear on your website, I can feel like this website was made for me? You know, okay, meet your new health and relationship coach, Rebecca Lewis. Am I? Lawis. Okay, Lawis. Okay, I beg your pardon if I made a mistake.
Just laws.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
Discover your own vision of what an ideal life is and be empowered to create it by becoming the greatest version of yourself you can imagine. Rebecca, I'm going to tell you this is great. However, For whom is this?
Yeah.
Is it for a business person? That's talking about demographics. You can segment people by demographics, right? Is it for coaches? Is it for entrepreneurs? Is it for working class people? Is it for people who are trying to make money online? Is this for people who are frustrated and tired of life? You know, for whom are you doing this? So I come to your website. Yes, you've helped me to understand that. I mean, the call to action here, schedule an appointment, is excellent. You know, the message is excellent. The only small thing that is lacking here is, for whom is this meant? That's the question. So who are you talking to? Now, imagine if, let me ask Mindy. Mindy, imagine if you landed on this website and it read this, it read, hello, online entrepreneurs who are overwhelmed. Do you know that taking care of health and relationship could transform your business and make you reach your business goals?
Yes.
Now, you'll be like, wait a minute. This person is talking about me. You see, that changes the game. Right, Rebecca? That changes the game. Now, I know the next question will be, what you're saying now is I'm going to make 1,000 websites, right? Because then, you know, I have just one website. How am I going to talk to all of these people, right?
Right.
But but then you don't have to make 1,000 websites, but I'm going to give you a tip of how to do it. You can make sure you don't drive traffic directly to your website. So let me share my screen and just let's show how you could apply this. I just want to give you some things you could go ahead now and apply immediately. You know what you could do is you could say, okay, this is my measure website, and on this measure website is general. The information I give is general. But if you go to Facebook now and you're running a campaign, let's say this is Facebook, the source, the traffic source. So let's say you run a campaign here on Facebook. Organic or non-organic, it doesn't really matter. And then on this campaign, you invited just business owners, right? Because you know the way you talk to business owners is different. The language you give to business owners is different. And it's even worse. Business owners who are already succeeding, you have to talk to them differently. Business owners who are starting like Mindy, you have to talk to them. So let's say this campaign was for you know, newbies, you know, newbies in online business, you know, and they're overwhelmed, you know, they're overwhelmed. Now, what you do is you build one basic landing page here. You don't send them to your website, no. So what you do is you instead make a very basic page here where you give them just that message, you know, where you say, are you, you know, overwhelmed, you know, frustrated and overwhelmed here, business owner who is frustrated and overwhelmed, and then you give them a call to action. And you only send them to your website when they have trusted you. Because when people trust you, they can now listen to general information. When they understand that you've recognized their problem and they can trust you, then you can send them to this general website. Because this general website now, when they come in, they already trust you. They already know that this is meant for them. Because when you land on the website, the first thing you ask yourself is this for me? You look at it, meet your new health and relationship coach. Oh, there are a lot of health and relationship coaches. I don't, you know, this is not for me. You know, so that is how you have to do it. So you have to segment. You literally have to take your, you know, think about your business as your audience, as segments of the audience, and break them into various demographics. Demographic is just one example. Another example you can segment is by the source of traffic. For example, do you treat people who come from Facebook the same way you treat people who did a Google search? That's wrong, because let me explain the difference in that. If I'm going to Google and searching for, you know, I'm searching for health and relationship coach, for example, best health and relationship coach. We call that in marketing non-disruptive, right? That's a non-disruptive. If you advertise on Google, or let's say you're ranking high on Google, I hope I'm not too technical. Please stop me if I am. That's non-disruptive because I went there by myself, right? So somebody who goes somewhere by themselves, you welcome them differently. You talk to them differently. On Facebook, it's disruptive because when I go on Facebook, I'm not trying to find a health and relationship coach. How many people go to Facebook finding a health and relationship coach? No, people go to Facebook to show off. People go to Facebook to get their voice heard. People go to Facebook to show off their holiday, their vacation they had in Bahamas and so on. They don't go there to find a health and relationship coach. So it means, imagine if you could welcome people who appear on your website from Facebook differently than you welcome those who appear from Google differently. It would just make a big difference because in their psychographics, in their mindset, they are coming from a different angle. That's different. Okay. Another way you can segment your audience who is arriving on your website is, for example, the time they arrive on your website. When do they arrive? Right. When do they arrive on your website? Is it in the morning? Maybe this could be interesting for those who have restaurants and so on. Now, let me be fair with Mindy and go to her website for us to just see if we could help her too. Now, looking at Mindy's website, she has welcome. By the way, this is a very good niche. Welcome to anti-aging tips. Great. What comes to mind when you think anti-aging? Wrinkles, cream, vanity, quality of life, and so on. Okay, this is great. This is great. This information is wonderful. Mindy, I don't know if somebody has told you, you don't have a call to action, right?
I did at one. Well, I do further down. You're right there. We're downloading music right by it.
Okay.
There's a little picture right there. You click the picture to join the community. I had stuff on the right-hand side, but I've been playing around with it just because I was trying different things. Because I had stuff over there, and then I think I just removed it yesterday. I don't know.
Okay. By the way, I'm going to say this. If you like this webinar, I'm going to give you two free follow-up consultations if you take it for you and Rebecca, just to go deeper, right? So I don't divert during this webinar. I'll just to go deeper and thanking you for coming here, because I think there are a couple of things I can help you with on your website. The design itself is nice. Like it's not overwhelming. It's the color. I like the image you choose. It's really cool. My challenge is when I come here, yes, you tell me about aging, but you don't give me an immediate action I can take, right?
Okay.
Yeah, you don't give me an immediate action I can take. But what I can say here, in the same like I was telling Rebecca, is people run away from aging for many reasons, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's different. Some people is because of self-esteem. Some people is because, I don't know, you know better. So you know better because it's your niche. That's what I mean.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. Give me a second.
Hi.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you received the link earlier.
I did, but we are getting our floors done today in our house, and I'm getting ready to be moving here in August, and so it's a little crazy for me this weekend. So anyway, no worries.
Okay, Lisa, but thank you for making it. Thank you very much.
Oh, no, thanks. I'm anxious to hear. So
okay, great. Thank you. Yes, so Mindy, what I was saying was you have to look at your audience. You no longer have to look at your audience as people who want to avoid aging.
Right.
You have to look at it from the mindset of why do they want to avoid aging? That's one way of looking at it, right? Another way you could look at it is business people who try to avoid aging. Imagine, I mean, I'm not a TV star, so I'm okay with a couple of wrinkles when I get old, but imagine a TV star would really freak out, I mean, like, I don't, like, so they're different. You know, they're
Yes.
different. So you have to talk to them differently. You have to find a way to make sure that when you attract each of them from a traffic source, when they're coming on your website, on your asset, on your web asset, you have to make sure that there's a message specific to that person. Like I said, it could be related to their profession. It could be related to why, maybe to their emotions. You know, people have different emotions, why they want to run away from this. And so you can segment these two and do exactly what I was explaining to Mindy. And this is, to Rebecca. And this is a lot of work, but trust me, this pays when you segment your audience in that way. It really, really, really does pay. As I said, the second way you can segment them is by checking out if they're coming from Facebook or they're coming from different sources, right? So this is one way you can do to create relationships. Just one way. You know, I'm not going to exhaust all the ways during these webinars, because I just want to give you 3 things you can change in your business to see changes instead of overwhelming you with a lot. My advice is, when you go back home, what you should do is think about your audience in terms of the different segments, right? The segments can be based on demographics. The segments can be based on their journey, you know, how far they are in solving that problem. The segment can be where they're coming from, you know, and so on. So I'm going to give you an example now of one of my websites, one of our websites, of a tool we created, which we are trying to sell. And we're going to explain that tool actually helps people to segment and address people. But I almost forgot to talk about revenue, right? Now, when you create a revenue, right, for Lisa, who is just coming in. Lisa, we were talking about the fact that it's difficult to market today because people don't trust people. And for them to trust you, you need to solve their problems, and you need to be an authority. And to solve their problems, you need to build relationships with them. To build a lot of people talk about relationships online, but they don't do it. To build relationship, you have to segment people and talk to them personally from their perspective. That's what people don't do. They talk about it, but they don't do it because it's difficult to do it, because it takes work, right? Because you need to care. You need to care for people in order to do that.
Right.
Exactly. Now,
especially online, you can't. It's easier to do that in person, but online you have to really build that relationship and let them know you care. So
absolutely. Thank you very much, Lisa, for agreeing with me. Now on the revenue side of things, by the way, especially this goes especially for Rebecca. I didn't listen to Lisa's story. I could listen to it some other time, just to be fair about time. But in Rebecca's case, even revenue in this case, let me even define it in 2018. Revenue is not only currency. Let me tell you something. Attention is a source of revenue. So if I have to download your PDF, it's costly. You know, like sometimes I prefer to pay somebody $10 for them to leave me in peace. You know, honestly, I don't know if you connect with what I'm saying, but sometimes you prefer to just give away, you know, $20 and say, okay, you know, I'm good, I'm done, bye-bye. And that's why I say, I always say this when I talk about relationships. I don't think most people who give money to beggars give it because they love the beggars or because they're philanthropic. I don't think so. I think they do that because they want to get rid of the beggar. That's why they give them $1. You know, I'm like, if you really love the beggar, give them $100. Come on, give them $100. You know, you know, don't give them 50 cents and go like, I'm giving. No way. So what I'm saying is, sometimes when you're giving 50 cents to a beggar, you're not actually doing it for the beggar, you're doing it for yourself, because your attention is expensive and you use 50 cents to buy it and go your way because you don't want them to bother you. Right. So when I talk about revenue, I'm talking about people taking action. When you ask people to take your courses or I don't know, whatever you're giving to people, Rebecca, for example, asking them to do that, they buy it with their time. They buy it with their attention. So it's still revenue. Right.
Yeah.
So when you create the relationship, you have to make sure that you're asking them to give you money or give you attention, to take action. Most people don't. Like I just told Mindy, if you look at Mindy's website, you see that she's really doing her best. I think Mindy has a relationship mindset. She's really trying to explain to these people why they need to care about anti-aging. Right? She cares about them. But my struggle I have here is she doesn't strike. She doesn't ask them to take action. You know, if you don't ask people to take action, they wouldn't take action. You know, your action is not supposed to be too far. Your action is immediately you create the relationship, you have to ask people to take action. As a matter of fact, the relationship itself is part of taking action. So let me go back to this tool and show you the example of how we are doing this. So when you just land on our website, let me share my screen. I'm going to show you a website. Just bear with me. Because when I say this, the first question that always in mind when I say this is, okay, but how do I apply this? Does it mean I have to build a lot of pages all the time? This sounds ridiculous. But imagine somebody landing on my website like this. So this is what happens if you land on my website, right? If you land on this website, from whatever source, I don't know. From a source, I don't know, right? Create your first, start thinking performance. Create your first project in 2 minutes and get on the path to performance. Okay. Now, if you look at this, there's a lot of revenue here. There's a lot of calling people to take action, but there's not much relationship here. I've not segmented. I've not asked. I've not made sure that I make the person understand that I know where they are coming from. I know who they are. But let me show you a difference when somebody actually approaches this. I beg your pardon. When somebody lands on my website from Facebook, this is what they see instead. Just give me a second. I'm going to show you.
Doc, do you want me to show mine? Even though I have a problem with my browser, but I could just show what it looks like.
Yeah, but you're going to show yours. But I'm showing them now.
Okay.
Mine, and then you could show them yours, and it's okay. Let's just finish with mine. If it's okay for you.
No, that's fine.
Okay, so when somebody lands on my website from Facebook, it's different. It's the same website, but the website actually checks to see your source of traffic, because we tend to treat people differently based on where they come from. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing. So we segment them already when they're coming to the website. It's important because we don't want to talk to somebody. Imagine somebody coming on our website from our email list, right? We will give them a different message because they already know us. The level of the relationship is already at a certain point, right? Imagine somebody coming on our website who attended our webinar. We're going to treat them differently. But now I want you to look at what we wrote here, on this. You see there's an extra message here. Hello. Like I tell people, what does it cost you to say hello? We know this, especially in the US. And the US shops invest a lot on this. When you arrive at a shop, there's somebody whose job, I think you call them greeters. They're paid for doing that. Their job is to say hello. People don't even say hello. Imagine if your website could say hello. Just say hello. It doesn't cost you nothing. As a matter of fact, my point is, what I'm trying to say on this webinar is, you cannot afford not to say hello because it's part of building, relationship. Just say hello. Hello. So happy you took out time from Facebook.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yes, Lisa, please go ahead.
So I'm looking at this. You have a special page? Is that like, so do you have a different landing page for people that are coming from Facebook or from other areas? Is that kind of what is happening, maybe in a not so super technical way?
That's a very good question. No, in this case, no.
Okay.
In this case, there is a tool with the same landing page, and that tool is in charge of actually bringing in this relationship and revenue component, given the fact that it's challenging to go ahead and build different landing pages, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
However, Lisa, we also do build different landing pages. To be honest and fair, when you segmented your audience, right, especially if you segment them in demographics. For example, I would build a different landing page for online marketers. I wouldn't mix them up. I wouldn't have the same landing page for online marketers like for, let's say, for surgeons, you know.
Okay.
If I want to focus on, let's say I want to run a campaign where I want to just focus on dentists, I'll build a landing page for them. I'll build one for them, you know. Or I could replicate my landing page and just tweak the copy a little to at least
different.
Yeah, make it so that when the dentist come in there, the language, everything there feels like this was right for a dentist.
Gotcha. Yep. Okay.
Okay, Lisa. Thank you. But this is
thank you.
What we're trying to show here is that you can do this with really little technology. Like, this is a tool that is generating this. What the tool does is the tool you know, looks at the person appearing and sees where they're coming from, and then determines the message to them, right? But look at it, it's not all. So it's hello. So happy you took out time from Facebook to visit us, right? So happy you took out time from Facebook. I'm mentioning the fact that they are from Facebook. I bet you it's so important. Research has shown that just calling,
you're paying the whole thing, huh?
The fact that people are from.
You want to take down those brackets?
Makes sense. Now, the next thing is.
Oh, I was signed up for this webinar.
The next thing is, we are determined to improve the website performance of a business from Essen. Essen is the city where I happen to come from now. So it recognizes the city. Now let me go back to Mindy and say, Mindy, imagine if you had a message on your website that said, hello from, I don't know, Chicago, or I don't know which city I want to use, Texas, or no, Texas is too big, Dallas, or which US city should I use? Hello from Portland, you know. You know, or I'm bent to help somebody from Portland, you know, with anti-aging tips, or I'm bent to help somebody from Portland to look, you know, more young than ever. I don't know. I'm thinking aloud. That's why I might be part of, you know. But imagine if just calling people's towns has been proven by research, it just changes the way they perceive. They tend to want to trust you. Now, let me add this. Have you ever traveled? Like, you know, I'm a Cameroonian, but I'm also a German. I went to Japan once, and I almost freaked out at the amount of food, at the kind of food that I ate for 1 week. I was angry. The food wasn't nice. You know, it was so Japanese food. So I was in the train, and I met somebody, and the person started speaking in German on the phone. And immediately they finished, I went to them and I said, Guten Tag, wie geht es dir? So I was speaking in German. He's like, he hugged me. Now, let me tell you, I was shocked. Now go to Germany and see if one person will hug you. I mean, people literally wouldn't even smile at you when you are in Germany. But go to Japan and meet somebody speaking German and speak German to them, they'll hug you. Right. And when I started talking about the food, he started talking about how he cannot find his way around. Everything is in Japanese, and in less than seconds, we trusted each other because of where we come from. People tend to trust you when you call out, you know, where they come from. They're small hacks, but those are small things that big companies are using to make a very big difference. A very big difference. So let me show the very last things, and I'm going to pause and take questions probably, or maybe listen to Mervi show what she's done on her page. But that's it, you know. So look at the way I've customized this message to helping somebody from Essen, from Essen, click on the button below to be the first, right? And now that person, and you know what? I'll send you this page, and I want you people to discover what will happen on the page. That's the last thing I want to show you. Now, kindly open that page. Open that page. So imagine that's, and then you tell me what happens. Probably what I want to happen will not happen, and then I'll tell you what to do for it to happen. Okay, so let me share my screen. Oh, I can already hear somebody. Who is that?
I think it's me.
It's Lisa?
Yeah. Okay,
it's
so click on the button.
Mindy, please, can you share your screen?
Oh, I don't know how to share my screen. I think I'm not
okay, it's somewhere below.
Yep, don't see it.
Okay, it's okay. But what do you notice? I could hear a voice, right?
Yes.
So
yeah, what happened to me?
Yeah. So what happened? It happened to you indeed. So what happened is, voice, Google, if you notice things some time now, Google has proven, and that's why you hear Amazon with Alexa, that audio moves people a lot. People have a probability of 30% more to listen to you if you just talk to them with a voice. Right.
And it knows where I'm from. It's got my town on there, Deltona.
It's got your town up there, right? Yeah. So those are small, tricks you could just do on your website to make it talk to people. So firstly, what we've done is we've made it talk to you in a voice. We've customized it to talk to you as though it's talking to somebody from your city, right? And then we've customized it to talk to you as though you were exactly coming from Facebook. So that's just a little of what this software can do, right? Now, at the end of this webinar was really to help you, and I hope that the tips I gave you could help you. At the end of this, one thing you could do is you could just click on the, Midi is sharing now. Thank you, Midi.
Figuring it out.
Yeah. At the end of the webinar, you could just click on create my first project, and you will be able to start using this tool. Now, if you want my team to help you to set this up on your website, my team is going to help you set this up on your website for free, right? So there's a free 2 weeks trial which you can do. You just go to click on my first project, and then you log in, you register. It's very easy to register. You can even register through Facebook, and then my team could help you to even set it up, right, for free, just so maybe you see this wow moment, and we can look at your business and say, hey, this is the kind of message that will be interesting for your business. And honestly, this has changed conversion rates. We used it for a customer, and it in e-commerce they had conversion rates of about 1%, and we moved the conversion rates to 3.5%. So more people were standing on the website because when they hear the voice, they just want to listen. I don't know what it's about voice, but if you look at it, Google is going voice, Amazon is going voice. Voice is becoming something big. And the voice which you listen to now is actually a robotical voice. But what this tool does is this tool gives you an opportunity to record your voice and welcome your visitors with your voice. So they come on your website and they say, hello, welcome to my website. Thank you for signing up, and so on. So those are the small tricks I wanted to show you. Probably Mavis wants to immediately show how she's using this on her website, and then we'll move on to questions and answers. I hope that I hope that this has been valuable to you, and this has not been a waste of your time.
Oh, not at all.
Okay, so Mavis, do you want to show firstly how you are using this on your website?
Yes. Okay, so before I show how I'm using it to generate leads, I just want to say a couple of things, right? There are 3 things you need to do to be able to fully craft your offers. There's the FOB method. You have segment, like Dr. Stanley was talking about, you need to segment, and then you need to engage. That's the relationship aspect, and then you need to offer. So there are 3 steps: segment, engage, and offer. This is how this is what I'm going to show you. So just give me a moment. Let me share my screen. My browser crashed, so you'll not be able to hear the voice, but
so the segment part is actually where you're creating the relationship. The segment and the engage is where you're creating the relationship, and the offer is where you're taking care of the revenue, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So give me a second. Let me share my screen. Where is that? Okay, got it. So I have 2 groups actually. I have a much bigger group and a much smaller group of about 900 people. So I used a smaller group to test. Veronica, I told you I was doing an SEO ebook. So I did a challenge, a 30-day challenge, just to see people's reactions and get them to give me feedback on what they think about the challenge before I go ahead and write the book. So I created this this page. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, so this was an offer for those who actually went through the challenge. So you see, this is a form that is targeted to them, and so let me try to play. Oh, the audio cannot play. No problem.
Well, yeah, if you would just send that link, they would play it and they would see it.
Okay, let me send the link to chat.
Yeah.
Give me a moment. My computer is really messy right now, so
it's okay.
Bear with me if I'm taking so much time. I've spent the whole day trying to make it work just for this webinar, and you see, I'm clicking on this thing and it's not responding. So
okay, no problem. Just go ahead, please.
Okay, so you have this hello friend, welcome. My name is Kimberly. Did you make some new friends on Facebook today? I'd love to show you something special. I created the SRF SEO ranking formula for you. So just click below. My website is not responding, so you cannot see the rest of the message, and I cannot click on anything right now. So I'm going to show you how I use the FOAP method. The FOAP method is called, like I said, you have to segment, you engage, and then you offer. So let me go over to the tool and show how I did it. So you have a feel of how it works. Okay, there are two journeys I created here. Don't worry about the technical terms. You're going to understand everything very soon. So there are two journeys I created here. So this second one, actually, I recorded my voice to welcome people on the web generally. Now, let's go back. Let me show you something before I continue. So this is my website. When somebody visits it from no resource, that means the person is not coming from Facebook. And this is the website when the person comes from Facebook. Let me refresh that so you see. That too is the same link, but when somebody comes from Facebook, the person is going to see the offer, especially from my Facebook group. And then this site, it doesn't have, oh, wow.
I think now we're seeing just the software itself. We're not seeing your pages.
Oh.
Yeah, indeed. We're seeing,
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Your computer is, yeah.
Okay, so, but I don't know if you can hear the voice.
No, we can't either.
Uh-oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Well, by the way, I have those links.
Okay,
I can pull out those links and show it to them. Why
that would be great.
Just give me 1 minute and the links will be here.
Okay, let me let me stop sharing my screen then.
Yeah, I have those links. What you made it in the admin, right? In the admin.
No, I made it in my own account.
Oh, I don't have, except you give me the link to
Okay,
your account.
just give me a moment. Let me see if I can send a link. I think, yeah, this is a link from Facebook.
Okay, so when somebody is what she's saying is, when you are going on Facebook, sorry, when you want to say you want to do a post on Facebook, be it organic or inorganic, be it a Facebook ad, the link you're putting on Facebook is the link you just sent, right? Even though it's the same landing page, the landing page doesn't change. It's the software that takes care of actually segmenting the audience based on those links, right? I don't know if you think about Facebook's pixel, you know, if you think about it, if you know what Facebook is doing from the retargeting standpoint, this is retargeting on your website.
Mm-hmm.
Because you intelligently segment a set of people, like on Facebook, you can retarget people who visited your website, right? So this is like the reverse. This is like retargeting people who visited a particular post on Facebook. So very, very, very interesting. So yeah, you want to continue?
No, these are the two links. The first one is just the general link. I just did that one this evening just to show, because I recorded my voice, and then the other one is the offer that I used for my Facebook group.
I don't know if they were hearing, but it was talking on my. It was talking on my side. It was talking. Let me try again to see if they were here. I don't know if you're hearing it speak.
I can hear it, but it's very, very...
Okay, no problem. Anyway, just go ahead then.
Okay, but I'm sure they can click the links in their spare time. There's no problem.
Yeah, indeed.
So there are two links that I sent.
Okay, let me check
the other one. Yes, the other one has just my voice.
Okay, the second one.
Yes.
The second one will be interesting. That one is the one you speak with your real voice, not a robot speaking, right?
Yes, that's
so you're welcoming your visitors with you're creating a relationship by welcoming them with your own voice.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if they can hear, but I can hear you welcoming your visitors here.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
So I just want to say, the moment I started using this this method to welcome my visitors, my conversion rates really increased. I was shocked myself, and there are just these little changes that you do on the website, and you never know, where it will take you. So let me just show you a little bit how I did it. So not to waste your time.
I have a proposal now that we have about an hour gone. While you're trying to find out how to show them, let's take questions first, so that if we run out of time, we should have listened to them ask their questions, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind.
Because we could even send them a video of a demo,
right.
So we're leveraging. So I want to listen to more their feedback. They might have questions about this and so on. So I give you back the floor and listen to here if you have questions, if you have comments, and so on.
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment.
Okay.
The recording your own voice, the having a voice accompany the message, and especially the recording your own voice versus a computerized voice message is brilliant. Just like from a psychology standpoint, learning things, reading them versus hearing and seeing them change. The nice thing about reading is we get to use our imaginations and create those messages for ourselves, but often when it comes to marketing, the message that we're creating for ourselves is negative, and we shut it down and we turn it off and we move on to the next thing. And that voice interrupt creates the the experience that we want someone to have when they're receiving that message, rather than them creating it for themselves. And I think it's brilliant. Like, it's just awesome.
Thank you very much for that. When we were doing this, we spoke to some customers, and some said, I don't like robots speaking to me. And then when we brought up the idea that, oh, so why don't we, do this such that, you can have your voice, talk to your visitors. Like you said, I mean, you know better, being a relationship and health and relationship coach, you are, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, thank you very much for your comment.
Yeah, it's just nice because then you get to determine the experience that they have with that message.
Indeed. You get to decide how you want them to feel when they arrive on your website.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Okay, so I don't know if there's any other question.
I don't have any questions. Not now. Probably later when I absorb half of it.
Okay, Mindy, no problem. Okay, I think Lisa probably jumped out because
she said she has a lot going on right now. She's moving, so she's not stable. Okay, Rebecca, I want you to meet Mindy. Mindy, I was talking to Lisa about Mindy. She wants to join our mastermind group, but unfortunately she will not be there on Wednesday. So I want you to meet her.
Oh, very nice.
I'm sorry, I have my video blocked. I just got out of the shower when this started, so wasn't a good day to look at.
No worries. It's a work day Saturday here for us, so I've got still my workout clothes from this morning, and I was like, no one's gonna care.
Oh, we don't care. But you look
might
great.
As well know what it all is.
No, you look great. Honestly, I didn't even notice it was a workout.
You have a good background. I like your flowers.
Yeah, it's beautiful. The flowers.
I love them too.
Well, she's a healing and relationship coach, for crying out loud.
Right. It's interesting, your feedback on my I don't know what you would call it, my elevator pitch, or my lead line on my website. Mm-hmm. I know that it is very broad, that it doesn't really target anyone specifically. And so if I share a couple quick things about what I actually do.
Yes, of course.
Would you possibly be able to help me with that?
Yes, indeed. And not only in this webinar. So what I was planning to say before you just said that was, I'm willing to give, because you're in her mastermind group and this is free and I'm not trying to sell nothing to you. Mevs and I also have this same mindset. Business will come later, but we really spend time with people, finding out what their challenge is, being there for them. Because sometimes what you really want to do with people is to show them the direction, to show them what is the challenge before you start selling whatever to them. Because they're even confused of what to buy. Look, Mindy says I'm overwhelmed. Why are you selling something to Mindy? She's overwhelmed. You need to help her. You need to help her in that overwhelmed period until she becomes not overwhelmed. Then you can say, hey, you can get this or get this or get this, right? So I'm willing to do two calls like this where we just look at what you're doing, you explain it to me, and then I give you tips of how to go about it. But you can start doing that now if it's okay, and if you have a few minutes.
I keep it really broad. However, I specialize in stress and anxiety relief, and so that's why I have the 3 pictures underneath the main portion.
Let me share your website as you speak, because I think it will help us to have a more pictorial.
And so my target audience, the people I help, are individuals and couples. There isn't a demographic in terms of entrepreneurs or coaches, it's just people. It's just people that have families and people that they love. And so I'm not really sure.
Okay. I have something to tell you about that. Can I tell you?
Please.
Now, again, as I said, please, Rebecca, never forget this, what I'm going to say now. And maybe you already know it. Probably you already know it. In 2018, attention is more expensive than money. So even if your idea is, I just want to help everybody, because after all, I'm not really doing this for money. I want to make a change. The problem is, even if you try to help everybody, you're not going to help some people because they're just not available for you to help them. Right. So you still have to find a target audience. Because if you don't find a target audience, you are not going to be able to make the impact you want to make in the world. It's like, I don't know I sang this song in primary school where they say, don't put a golden ring on a pig's nose. You know, I don't know if you know about, I mean, we grew up, we you know what pigs do with golden rings, right? They just put in the mud.
Right.
And you had a good intention. It's a great ring. It's a golden ring. But hey, it's a pig. You know what I mean? You know?
Yeah. I think the term here is throwing your pearls before swine. Similar thing, right?
Yeah, indeed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to connect. So.
Yeah, of course. So what I'm saying is the target audience is defined by 3 A's. I call them 3 A's. 1, the ambition. They have to have an ambition. 2, they have to be available. I couldn't help you if you didn't come on this webinar, even if I want to help you so bad. You know, they have to be available. And 3, they have to have the ability to pay. Again, not only money, could be time. Imagine if you want to help me. Imagine if I tell you, oh, Rebecca, that's great. I want you to help me. And every time you need to have a call with me, I'm like, oh, Rebecca, I don't got time. You'll be like, oh my God. You know, I'm not your target audience, correct?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have that feeling for my ideal client. I do. But so for my target audience in terms of copy, it would just be stressed out individuals and couples. I need to actually label that so that it identifies me as that I'm looking for people who are stressed out.
Yes, and then you have to. And by the way, when I say ideal client and ideal audience, it doesn't even mean that you have to exclude some people. This is what it means. It means you have to segment them and talk to them as though you were talking to them. So don't say I'm helping couples. That's too broad, right? Don't say I'm helping singles. I'm helping single business people. I'm helping, coupled. I don't know if you say coupled in English. English is not my first language, so bear with me. I'm helping coupled business people. It just makes a difference. I don't know if you understand me. I mean, people who are in a couple, who are couples and are in business are different than people who are couples and are employed somewhere. You know what I mean? It's totally different. That's what I'm saying you should do. You have to make these different segments and then ask yourself the question, why do couples who are in business have health and relationship problems? If you don't talk to them from that angle, you will not get them. That's the point. They will not listen to you because they're so busy in their trouble.
Yeah.
Right. Their why is different. The reason, let me give you an example. The reason why Mindy is overwhelmed, right, which can even affect her health and her relationship, is different from a pilot's overwhelmed because maybe he flies too much and doesn't have enough time with their family. They're two different things, but you solve the problem with the same product.
Right.
But you talk to them differently. That's the point I'm trying to say. So you have to find time to dig into your audience and find these different whys for the different segments, and then speak to them based on that exact pain which they have.
Yeah. I'll have to put more brain energy and time into the segmenting.
Indeed.
Because I haven't even considered that. It's just people in general, and the stress factor is the problem.
Yeah.
But
indeed.
no segmenting has really occurred other than just individual sessions and family couple sessions.
Indeed. And what you have to understand, Rebecca, my last point is you're not the only one trying to help people with this for money or for not money. There's a lot of people. So imagine couples, singles, business people, all of them get banked by people like you every day.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the question is it turns down to what I'm telling you from the beginning of this webinar. Do you create a relationship with them? And now creating a relationship is no longer as obvious. It's a bit deeper. To create a relationship, you need to segment them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where now they will tend to listen to you more than they would listen to some other person doing exactly the same thing. That's what you don't have to forget. You have competition. Yeah. So yeah. So thank you very much. If we don't have any more questions, and
I don't have any now.
okay, Mindy, no problem. If you want to take the two coaching session I gave, where I could, do a one-on-one, look at what you're doing, go deeper, even start this segmentation process with you. I could give you a number of light bulbs that could, spark, the ideas around doing that, and some basic tools that I use to do that. It could help you as a starting point. You could just talk to Mervis, and she could set up an appointment, and I could come on a call like this one personally and do that for you. For Rebecca, for Mindy, and for Lisa, I can do that if it's okay for you people.
Thank you. Yeah, I would really appreciate that.
Thank you very much for coming on this call. And by the way, there was a recording of this call. If you want it, we can also send it over to you.
It will be available in the group.
Okay, great. Okay, great. Okay, great.
Thank you so much.
But Rebecca is not part of the group. I didn't want to put her because it's a bloggers group. I did not know if she'll feel comfortable in it. So
if I feel comfortable in it.
Well, it's a ladies group, right?
Yeah.
At least all of you have something in common. I'm not going to be in that group.
Oh, come on.
I'm not qualified to be in that group.
Where's your sense of adventure?
Okay. Thank you so much for coming on this webinar. I'm really grateful. I hope it was not a waste of your time.
Yeah, not at all.
No,
Okay.
not at all.
I appreciate your insights.
Thank
you so much, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mindy. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you, Mindy. Thank you, Rebecca, for coming.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.